Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. And so, the dark side of success is what we're looking at in this particular audio. And yes, success can have dark sides. Success can have drawbacks, and a lot of people don't realize that because they only look at the positive sides of success, especially with the preoccupation of being successful as a good way of being. And so, what are some signs of that? And also, with over 1,400 of these, we'd love to add content that you enjoy as well. Please feel free to reach out if there's something that we can do to add to your quality of life. So the first thing is success is lonely. A lot of people do get into the habit of being jealous of those that are more successful than them. Therefore, the only people that are really truly invested in your success in a deep way are those who are either with you before you become truly successful, or those who see the value in who you are and what you bring to the table before you hit your stride of success. So that means that many people will latch on to you and ultimately become extremely greedy about the way in which you kind of see the world, or the way in which you relate with the world around you. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing, bad thing, or indifferent. It just more so means that people tend to be driven by the idea or the concept of kind of making a deeper level of being more meaningful, more driven, more focused, and ultimately, kind of balancing things out in a good way. And it can be extremely difficult from there to begin to really know what it is that we need from others. The next thing is that level of greed. Unfortunately, in a capitalistic society, one of the drawbacks is that people are constantly looking for more money, more influence, more power, more market value. And so that idea of more and the concept of expansion consistently can become problematic for a number of reasons. When an individual doesn't want to admit to themselves that they've kind of stepped into a world with a bunch of often greedy people, it can be super painful and also not particularly a great deal of fun. And so what ends up happening there is ultimately there becomes a major challenge of how to identify and or kind of indemnify, for lack of a better term, the way in which the world at large is seen, experienced, or whatever have you. It's not always a bad thing or a good thing, but it can be an overwhelming thing for a number of reasons for people. And so that expectation that people will be, willing to let go of stress, because the stress of staying on top is just as impactful or difficult for some people as the stress of getting to the top, whatever the top is, whether it's market share, whether it's visibility, whether it's having a good relationship, and then the level of jealousy that comes with it, and the physical and emotional pain associated with having to kind of always be on guard. There's a lot of stress that comes with being on guard consistently, constantly, and almost every turn. And so a lot of people don't necessarily want to deal with that. A lot of people don't necessarily want to understand how that affects their daily life, but without understanding it, it can be extremely difficult to identify that, and or to identify kind of the way that things need to go forward. The next thing there is understanding the level of pain that comes from realizing that one is more alone than they originally thought. So that level of loneliness is something that they have to confront, then cope with, and also leaving oneself open to people that you think are on your side, but aren't necessarily always on your side, because they're trying to get themselves into a situation where, in fact, they are getting ahead at because of you, or as a benefit from you, but they're not really being honest with their intentions, or they're not really being focused with their intentions in that regard. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.